There's a moment in Half-Life 2 which is very special to me.
That's the old passage to Ravenholm. We don't go there anymore.
A section of the game that will remain etched in my mind forever. Whilst Half-Life has occasionally dabbled into the darker and creepier side of its universe, the section in which we explore Ravenholm embraces it entirely. The former mining town and eventual resistance stronghold became home to a tragic and harrowing backstory. After the Combine slaughtered the townsfolk by launching a bombardment of headcrab shells, turning the residents into zombies. It's a tragedy that underpins the bleak atmosphere of Ravenholm, which somehow feels both desolate and dread-inducing. This is also one of the few places in Half-Life 2 where ammunition is scarce, with fewer supplies found within the environment. But in lieu of ammo boxes, there are various saw blades scattered around, encouraging the player to use the gravity gun to dismember enemies, making the combat in Ravenholm feel intentionally more grotesque, and also injecting an element of body horror into almost every encounter. Within Ravenholm's gloomy setting resides Father Grigori, the town's last remaining survivor.
Who is this? Another life to save?
A character who embodies the horror genre's trope of turning religion upside down, with the priest providing assistance by purging the area of zombies, an action he claims serves as the liberation of his flock.
A shepherd must tend to his flock, especially when they have grown unruly.
This twisted religious intent and Grigori's deteriorated mental state are also externalized, represented through the deadly traps he has designed. Grigori is also the one who bestows the player with a shotgun, and offers some advice that will feel familiar to anyone who's played survival horror games.
My advice to you is, aim for the head.
Despite being a brief part of a much larger game, Valve's decision to lean into horror motifs to create a darker experience is one that made Ravenholm a fan favourite. But it also served as a proof of concept. Proof that the Source engine was capable of providing the toolset to invoke a darker, creepier tone. In this video, we're going to explore a mod that did exactly this. Something born from the union between Half-Life 2's engine and a developer who possessed a far more disturbing creative vision.
Farewell, brother. I fear I deliver you to a darker place. May the light of lights illuminate your path.
The mod we're going to be looking at is one that, despite never receiving a full release, has managed to haunt me for over a decade. A Source engine mod simply titled Underhell. Written and directed by Jeremy Falconprez under the online alias MXD, Underhell holds a dark secret. A disturbing revelation residing within its hub-like location, a space referred to simply as the House. As the player, we get to explore this building and unravel its mystery, but this will not be a straightforward endeavour, as it won't take long before we realise we aren't alone. The mod begins as we take control of protagonist Jake Hawkfield, a special weapons and tactics operative who has taken some time off work following an unexpected tragedy. By logging onto Jake's computer, we can begin to glean some insight into his state of mind and learn a little more about this distressing event. There are emails from colleagues offering their condolences, one of which ends with the statement, "I know what it's like to lose someone." A final email appears to have been sent by Jake's therapist, stating that he can no longer continue their sessions. He then refers Jake to another doctor, claiming that they would be a better match to help with his condition. The email remains vague about what this condition is, and only concludes by asking Jake to give his regards to Mrs. Hawkfield. Also, as a side note, this particular email has been sent by Dr. Romero from Never Lose Hope Hospital, a character and setting that appears in Nightmare House, another horror source engine mod that we'll be covering on the channel, as whilst their stories are only tangentially connected, they do take place within a shared universe.
Security alert. Area under lockdown. Please remain calm and wait for further assistance.
Walking into the dining area, we spot a calendar on the wall. The first date is marked Sunday, 1st of September 2013, the day Jake and his wife moved into the house. But the entry on the following Friday, just a few days later, has scribbles etched harshly with black ink. The word "no" appears multiple times. As we try to interact with this calendar, Jake remarks that it's a good thing he's not superstitious, confirming that the current date is Friday the 13th. So whatever traumatic event happened here happened only a week ago. In the central hallway, there's a photo facing down. Picking it up and turning it over shows us a picture of Jake and his wife. But strangely, her face has been obscured by the fractured glass. Searching the nearby chest of drawers, we find a flashlight and a diary entry written by Jake's wife. As we explore the house, we will find many more of these, and they will offer some backstory for her character and the relationship she had with our protagonist. This entry is dated November 22nd, 1999, and details how Jake's wife wrestled with an emotional turmoil, a sadness that surrounded a childhood friend named Jessica who had been abandoned by her parents. In the same chest of drawers, we find a photo of Jake beside a character named Frank. Frank is another SWAT member, but more importantly, he is Jake's surrogate father. When interacting with this photo, Jake comments that these were happier memories from another time. Returning to the dining area, we find the kitchen door keys beside a grandfather clock, but just before our hands clutch them, night begins to fall. Walking through Underhell's house after dark invokes a sense of unease that feels oddly specific. And for me personally, it felt reminiscent of a childhood experience. When I would wake up in the night long past my bedtime, I hoped my imagination would not fill in the blank spaces created by the surrounding darkness. And every sound, no matter how small, felt sharp and unnerving. It's a fear of the unknown that's intrinsic to the human experience, and honestly, not something I've seen conveyed very often in a video game. After taking a moment to gaze outside the window, admiring the uneasy tranquility of this stormy night, something unexpected happens. Whilst we'd probably like to try and dismiss that as some kind of TV interference, exploring the house whilst waiting for sunrise makes the reality of our situation unmistakable. Whether this is a paranormal occurrence or a psychological one, we do not currently know. All we can conclude at this time is that Jake, and now by extension us, are being haunted by the ghost of his late wife. As the night stretches on for what feels like an eternity, we try to break through the tension by playing the piano. But after managing to produce a few short, uncoordinated notes, something emerges. A piece that looks awfully out of place. Carrying the item upstairs and into our bedroom, we place it in a music box and listen to a tune that's both beautiful and eerie. A symphony reflecting the tone of Underhell's blend of horror. The suggestion that beneath the terror and the fear lies a deep, longing sadness. Once the tune ends, a set of basement keys appear on the counter. They're accompanied by the welcome embrace of sunlight. Confirmation that we have endured our first night in this house. Looking through the bedroom, we investigate a door but cannot open it. Not because it's locked, but because Jake states he does not want to go in there. The background images used in the mod's main menu provide some disturbing context for this. This is the room his wife died in. The room he found her in, lying half submerged in a pool of blood. It's implied that she took her own life. Pressing our ear against the door, we can still hear the faint sound of running water. After collecting some batteries for our flashlight, we find another diary entry written by Jake's wife. This one is dated September 11th, 2001, and recalls a horrified reaction she expressed towards the violent acts committed on this day. Beside this chest of drawers lies a box containing her belongings. In an attempt to rid ourselves of this haunting, hoping to perhaps purge an item tying her spirit to the house, we take the box outside and throw it in the dumpster. It's a small moment, but feels as though it has had a much wider, perhaps more sinister implication. After unlocking the kitchen door, we step out into the backyard and uncover a passage leading to the basement. Inside, we find another diary entry dated December 24th, 2003. It details how Jake's wife burned a new diary that her parents gifted her for Christmas. An action not taken out of spite, but was instead motivated by a profoundly sentimental attachment towards the older diary these pages belong to. She also notes that with each entry written, a sense of replenishment is granted, as though she is being born again through every new edition. Next to this diary entry is a boiler that we can fuel by placing a log inside. Doing so provides us with the attic key. As we head upstairs, a previously locked door has been left open, but sharply closes shut upon closer inspection. Afterwards, night begins to fall once again, and we unlock the entrance to the attic. In the center of this space rests a wheelchair. Who this belongs to and why are sadly not questions we're ever given the answers for. However, I do have my own theory based on what we can learn from one of Underhell's more frightening encounters. All I will say for now is that we know the calendar states that either Jake or his wife had a hospital appointment on the Wednesday before she passed. Perhaps this was a routine therapy session for Jake, but considering the content of Dr. Romero's recent email, and that the hospital's wheelchair is positioned as an unmissable focal point within the attic, I believe this item serves as a key piece to Underhell's puzzle. A thought we'll hold on to for now. Behind the wheelchair are a few notable items. A map of the grounds indicating some familiar locations, alongside two unfamiliar ones that reside outside the boundaries of the backyard. A playground and a well. There's another diary entry, but unlike the previous few, this one is much more recent. Dated April 28th, 2011. This particular entry begins to offer some context behind the circumstances leading up to the present day. Most notably, we learn of the passing of her father, a failed romantic relationship, and the optimism she held for finding a genuine connection again after starting a new job. Before we leave the attic, we also find the remote control to the garden shed and a crowbar. Taking the remote outside, we open the shed and collect the next journal entry. This one is dated just a few months after the last, detailing the moment Jake and his wife first met.
The most extraordinary thing happened to me today. I had finished my shift at work. I opened the door. It hit the bells hanging from the ceiling, and as they were ringing and I was stepping outside, I had the most strange feeling. But a nice strange feeling. I felt safe, like someone was watching over me. I turned around and I saw him from across the street, gazing at me with his tender eyes. He looked at me like he had known me forever, just like in the movies. I pretended I did not see him and kept walking. I was looking up the hill at the old farm, and as I stopped at the red light, he was there beside me, still looking at me. But instead of feeling awkward, I felt safe. I just knew I could trust him. I think I am in love.
Upon reading this entry, music suddenly emanates from within the house. It's originating from the piano, but there's nobody playing it. At least, nobody we can see. Walking into the living room causes the sound to abruptly stop, leaving us with a deafening silence. On the return trip to the attic to grab the crowbar, we enter the bedroom and notice something that gives us a spine-shivering pause. It's the box containing our wife's belongings, the one we threw in the garbage. It's damaged and a little misshapen, but otherwise intact. How did this find its way back into the house, and why? We then continue into the attic to look for the crowbar. Taking the crowbar into the garden shed, we unveil a grate hiding beneath some cardboard boxes. Breaking it opens a path to a hidden underground room. Inside, there's a set of keys for the wardrobe upstairs, containing an axe and some flares. Beside the keys lies the next journal entry, written just one day after the last.
I thought about him all night. I just could not sleep. Is this what Mother meant about true love? I feel like I have known him all my life, and that he knows me better than I know myself. Each time I try to say something, I only need to say a part of it and he understands what I mean. He came to see me at work and asked if I wanted to have dinner with him. He is such a gentleman, and so polite. He is just like the handsome characters from romantic movies, but he is real, and I think he likes me, or he would not have asked me out. What will I wear? What would Jessica do? She would probably go straight to him and kiss him on the cheek, and then whisper to his ear, "If you try to hurt me, you will be sorry," or something like that. That's how she was. I wonder if she is well.
We return to the house as night begins to fall, and continue our search through the building, looking for anything that might help uncover more of Underhell's mystery. Our exploration is halted by the fleeting glimpses of the ghost from Jake's past. Whilst the presence of this apparition never offers any comfort, we do begin to contemplate the reason behind it. But just as soon as these questions ponder within our mind, we hear a sound coming from upstairs. It was the door to the bathroom, the room she died in. It's open. After narrowly escaping the injured corpse of our wife crawling across the floor, we take the opportunity to enter the bathroom. It's almost impossible for me to understate how unexpected this encounter was when I first played Underhell, especially considering that this is a chance moment, something that's so rare it's unlikely to happen on every playthrough. You could spend hours in this house and never experience this terrifying event. Its randomized nature almost makes it feel as though the mod itself is haunted. And I can't help but wonder whether there are any more frightening occurrences still waiting to be uncovered. Wanting to spare us of this possible terror, the following evening we decide to use the bed to sleep through the night. But some fears cannot be avoided, especially those that dwell deep within the recesses of our subconscious minds. As we skulk through the dark abyss of Jake's subconscious, we find a note page. It reads, "My dreams. Sometimes they are the same, sometimes they are not. They all hide a secret, memories I forgot." With no flashlight to illuminate the darkness ahead, we use the flares provided to light our path and collect another page. "My nightmares. Within my dreams they lie, always hiding within the shade. Light is my only ally against mistakes I have made. We then find the third and final page. My guilt. When I hear it coming, I must start hiding. In this realm of nightmares, there are many doors for us to enter. Behind each door is a puzzle that, upon solving, shines a light on one of Jake's repressed memories.
I wish I could see you evolve, grow into the man I know you will become. I wish I could be there to see what could have been.
Some of these puzzles are simple enough, but there are a few that require more creative solutions. And as we progress further into his mind, we must remain vigilant, because you never know when Jake's guilt will decide to pay us another visit. Story-wise, there are a few notable elements to unpack here. The first is the revelation that Jake's parents gave him away when he was very young, after an unknown incident surrounding his father's work put his son's life at risk. Jake's father, Thomas, then entrusted Frank Green with the responsibility of raising him.
So we're leaving him here?
Yes, I trust Frank with my life. I trust Frank with Jake's life. This is the right thing to do, even if it's the most painful thing I'll ever have to do.
It's implied that this was both a choice made to protect Jake, but to also keep him hidden. Over time, Frank formed a strong bond with Jake, and has continued to loyally watch over him ever since. And then there's the guilt. The aspect I believe is most concerning, as this externalization of Jake's inner turmoil begs a burning question. What could Jake be feeling guilty of? Whatever he's done, it was traumatic enough for his mind to conjure this disturbing manifestation. A monster designed to torment him every time he falls asleep. Jake's guilt, alongside his fractured and unstable psyche, could also be responsible for the unsettling occurrences we have experienced within the house. Something that perhaps stems from a psychological origin rather than a paranormal one. This would also explain why after every major scare, Jake awakens in his bed. But there is another dark secret lurking beneath the grounds of this house. One that is very real, and as I alluded to earlier, is the reason why Underhell still haunts me, even after all these years. On an unsuspecting gloomy night, a bolt of lightning suddenly strikes a tree in the backyard. The sound of its splintering branches immediately wakes Jake up, and we head downstairs to investigate the damage. The tree's collapse has broken the perimeter fence. The following morning, we grab the axe from the garden shed and break through the debris, granting us access to an area of the map that was previously inaccessible. Through the gaps of a chain link fence, we can spot a tunnel in the distance. At an open clearing, a large tree stands tall. Adjacent to the trunk, there are remnants of a bonfire. According to the map we found in the attic, this should also be the location of a well. Perhaps it's now buried somewhere beneath the surface. Lastly, we discover the playground, and it's here we find a shovel and the next diary entry.
I have just lived the best 3 days of my life. If this is a dream, may I never wake up again. He works in the police, risking his life to help others. He only talked about himself when I asked, but above all else, he listens to every word I say and really pays attention to me. He understands what I have been through. He understands my losses, as he has lost things as well. He lost his entire life in an accident. He told me that when he woke up, his best friend was there with him, and that he could not even remember his name. I cannot imagine what it's like to know someone and yet not remember him. We spent the past 3 days together. I even skipped work. And yet, we have not done anything private. He has not even tried. I must say that I now regret not trying myself.
Shortly after acquiring the shovel, night begins to fall. We head towards the large tree in an attempt to confirm our earlier suspicions. And as the sound of the shovel's blade snags something beneath our feet, we unearth the well. Trying to push away its heavy cover is an impossible task, so we decide to return to the house to find something that could help us. But on our walk back through the forest, we hear footsteps behind us. Could that have been the monster from our nightmares? Why would his guilt be tormenting us out here? Also, as an amusing side note, whilst I was gathering footage of the environments for this video, this particular jump scare managed to get me a number of times. Bringing the crowbar back to the well, we managed to pry it open. Taking a quick look inside reveals nothing but a dark abyss. If we're going down there, we'll need something to light the way. After spending the night collecting flashlight batteries and the box of flares, we return the following morning and drop them down the vertical tunnel. We then follow suit, plunging into the depths below, and someone blocks the opening above us. It seems we're trapped down here. A cursory glance with our flashlight does little to alleviate the ensuing darkness, so we grab a flare from the box and ignite it. Its red hue reveals 2 scorched corpses on the ground. At the end of a tunnel, we find a room with a keep out sign above it. There's a latch on the back of the door that allows us to prevent it from opening on the other side. We then find a tape next to a recorder and a bloody handprint. Playing the tape, we learn that a man named Angelo was trapped down here, after being shot twice, burned alive, and then thrown down the well. There were also 2 others he was with, named Thompson and Jenkins. These are who the scorched corpses we found at the bottom of the well belonged to. Despite being severely wounded, Angelo somehow managed to survive.
I still haven't explored it all. I need to explore the tunnels, and I need to stay organized. I need to stay focused. My name is Angelo. Sooner or later,
we'll need to scour the tunnels if we are going to learn more. As we collect more tapes and pull levers to unlock new sections of the tunnel, we realise it's much larger than originally anticipated. A dimly lit sewer system that feels almost labyrinthian by design. Unable to get a clear look at who else is down here with us, we flee further into the tunnels, leaving our box of flares behind in the panic. As we discover a fourth tape, we hear the stranger's voice calling out in the darkness. They seem to be following us. As they block our pathway back, we try to get closer to find a way past, and hear a raspy voice calling back at us. It offers just 2 spine-tingling words. Using our flashlight to try and get a clearer view, we realise something is very wrong. Not only does Jake's vision become obscured, but whatever we can make out paints a horrifying picture. Their skin looks charred and torn apart. Their movements are slow and laboured. It seems we have found Angelo. After evading our pursuer, we circle back around to collect the 5th tape and walk down a long, stretched out tunnel. We emerge into a wider space that's supported by pillars that look awfully similar to some we can find in one of Jake's nightmares. At the far side of the room, there's a glimmer of hope granted by daylight cascading through a gated opening. In a nearby room, we find the final tape. Escaping Angelo once more, we hurry back to the room with the tape recorder as his desperate, sorrowful cries fade into an echo behind us. By listening to each tape, we learn a harrowing backstory behind this character's circumstances.
The nights, the sleepless nights are so long, they're unbearable. I'm so hungry. I have to find something to eat.
Angelo, Thompson, and Jenkins were hired by an unknown employer to provide surveillance on Jake Hawkfield. But for reasons we do not currently know, their employer, or someone else, attacked them by shooting all 3, burning their bodies, and throwing them down the well. But Angelo had something called dextrocardia, a rare birth defect whereby an individual's heart is located on the right-hand side of their body. So where Thompson and Jenkins didn't survive the gunshot wounds to their chests, Angelo did. Although he was fatally wounded, as the bullet pierced his lung and a second shot hit his brain. The fire then melted his flesh and scorched his nervous system. By all accounts, Angelo should have died. But in the tapes, he believes the only explanation is that something is keeping him alive. For what purpose, he does not know. Over time, Angelo's condition worsened, describing how in the darkness, he cannot tell whether he is pulling clothing or skin from his body. In this weakened state, he tries to use rebar metal to prop his legs up, but they eventually began to merge with his flesh, causing his movements to become slow and agonizing. Despite not being able to die, Angelo was still afflicted by an insatiable hunger. But with only sewage water and rats for sustenance down here, he began to starve. As his desperation festered, he reluctantly resorted to eating pieces of the rotting corpses of Thompson and Jenkins. As the tape progresses, we hear Angelo's state of mind deteriorate in tandem with his body. His prolonged time in the sewer has made him sound almost unrecognizable from the earlier entries.
I will do what I need to do to survive. I'll start eating rats if I have to. A sewer won't be where I die. A sewer won't be the end of me.
During our encounter with Angelo in the tunnels, he repeatedly screams the words, "I'm sorry," something we could initially assume as directed towards Thompson and Jenkins. However, the final tape offers a different implication. One that may provide some answers behind what actually happened to Jake's wife.
All this time I didn't know it. I've been here for nearly a month. Eating my dead partners and all the rats I could find. All this time the answer was right in front of me. This isn't an ordinary house. He was no ordinary target. And our employer was no ordinary contractor. He's a demon. A monster. He lurks within the shadows. But every time the light reaches him, he transforms into the savior, into the leader, and the trustworthy. And in all this madness, and all these astronomical odds, it had to be them. Everything, and everyone involved. They're part of something much bigger than they realize. Thompson had this page hidden in his leather wallet. A real leather wallet, bullskin, tough as a rock. He survived the flames. Now I understand. We were not the only ones looking after them. There was someone else. He double-crossed us. Or maybe his employers did. Or maybe they didn't even know each other. I don't know. I don't care. Whatever the reason, whatever the cause, before my dying heart stops beating, or I run into a pile of dirt, I'll find him. I'll eat him alive. I'll eat all of them. And I'll make them all watch me do it. I'm sorry. We were misled. We were lied to. We had no idea. We just had no idea. We didn't know. Sometimes, innocent people are hurt. Innocent people get caught up in the crossfire. Sometimes there's collateral damage. I hope he can forgive me. I hope she can forgive me.
The details of this tape allude to a plausible theory. After an unknown contractor employed the three men to survey Jake and his wife, they eventually crossed a line. This is reflected by another diary entry that we can obtain on our way out from the sewers, which indicates the start of this questionable behaviour.
Something strange happened today. 2 men with strange badges came to see me at my work, asking a lot of questions about Jake. They asked me how long have I known him, how did I meet him, what does he do for a living. They even asked me private questions about our relationship. I will have to tell Jake. Maybe it's related to his work somehow. I hope it's nothing serious, but they gave me chills. They both wore sunglasses during the entire conversation, but I could see their gloomy eyes through the black, tainted plastic glass. Something was oddly wrong about their look. It's like they reacted to every one of my movements, or every answer I gave them. Like they were analysing my every reaction. For the first time in a long time, I am scared. Has Jake been hiding something from me?
The last diary entry we can find also confirms that Jake's wife never knew about his orphaned past. Considering the implied psychological damage associated with his childhood, it seems he wanted this aspect of his life to remain hidden from her. It's therefore possible that Jake attacked Angelo and his colleagues as retaliation for unearthing his past and scaring his wife. A background image on Underhell's menu also confirms that Jake's surrogate father Frank burned and disposed of the bodies. This was likely an attempt to conceal Jake's secret and his involvement, continuing to uphold the promise he made to Jake's biological father to protect him. So, how did this event connect to the death of his wife? Well, as Underhell was unfortunately never finished, I can only offer my interpretation, but I believe the answers have been hidden in plain sight, specifically written across the various diary pages we have been collecting. In an earlier entry, Jake's wife revealed that she was horrified by the violence on September 11th, and later how she admired Jake's employment, specifically with how his job allows him to help people. Witnessing the man she loved commit brutal acts of violence against Angelo and his men would have therefore been a deeply distressing moment. Especially if, as the calendar's hospital appointment and Angelo's final tape imply, she had also become an innocent victim of the bloodshed, suffering an injury that paralyzed her from the waist down. A condition evidenced by the wheelchair in the attic and the one scare in which the bathroom door actually opens, as her reanimated corpse desperately crawls across the floor. In another entry prior to meeting Jake, she also emphasizes how important she believes real, authentic connections are, longing for someone with the strength of her former bond with a childhood friend named Jessica. And after an almost love-at-first-sight encounter with Jake, she truly believed she had found what she had spent years looking for, writing about how the two understood each other entirely. So, learning the truth that Jake had been hiding a huge secret from his past throughout their whole relationship would have been heartbreaking. These are what I believe are the reasons behind the tragic decision to take her own life, and why her presence can still be felt throughout the house. Becoming another manifestation of guilt created by Jake's mind, following the betrayal of her trust and his inability to protect her. Although it's also entirely possible she is here because her spirit has unfinished business, haunting the area to keep someone alive long enough to enact her revenge. Someone who appears to have followed us home in an attempt to offer a final apology. There are plenty of questions remaining, such as who employed Angelo, Thompson and Jenkins in the first place, and why. My current theory is that this was Jake's father, attempting to gain information about his son from a safe distance. There's also the mystery surrounding how Angelo didn't succumb to his injuries in the tunnels, but as I alluded to, I think this one could be connected to Jake's wife. Also, I believe it's possible that Angelo is an earlier physical version of the guilt. There are so many similarities to their designs, and the guilt only tormenting Jake inside his dreams and around the well seems like too much of a coincidence. Lastly, there's this ominous phone call.
I don't know if I should be telling you this on the phone, but your wife, something's just not adding up. We have to be, as soon as possible. This is important. Coming!
There's clearly so much we may never know about the death of Jake's wife. But despite the remaining mysteries, one thing we can say for sure is that Angelo's demise purged the house of its haunting, and finally allowed Jake to put his wife's soul to rest. Or maybe not. Although it was never finished, Underhell remains a deeply disturbing experience. While so much of what we've deduced from this mod is open to interpretation, I love that there are enough breadcrumbs and ambiguity in its current state to allow players to try and connect their own dots. That's also not including the content-rich campaign offering that, despite being lighter on the type of horror I wanted to focus on with this video, does continue to fill in the gaps of Jake's character. But for me, it's the house that remains my favourite aspect of this mod. There's something so disturbing about the concept of turning a location as mundane and safe as an ordinary home into somewhere I associate with unease and terror. I'd strongly recommend giving the mod a try if this video has piqued your interest, and would also love to hear your interpretation of what we've uncovered here. And if by sheer chance MXD is watching, just know that I appreciate all the hard work you put into this incredible Half-Life 2 mod. And to you watching this video, thank you for joining me, and I hope we'll see each other again very soon. Perhaps in another dark corner of the Source Engine.